Uh, Today we have to see the topic is disease of bones and joints, that is cemento osseous dysplasia. In fact, we have to see before the cemento osseous dysplasia, we have to see what is the normal cell, what is dysplasia cells. The normal cells are arranged in alignment manner, but dysplasia cells are unevenly arranged. The cementum like materials unevenly arranged, so it is called cemento osseous dysplasia. The cemento osseous dysplasia, it is a group of fibro osseous lesions and most common in the jaw. Occurring in the tooth bearing areas, it is characterized by the excessive cementum like materials that get mineralized in the soft tissues, so it is called as the cemento osseous dysplasia. That etiology and pathogenesis are still remain unknown. It is mostly due to or like a reactive or dysplastic process, like inflammatory or a dysplastic process occurs, so that leads to form the these conditions, because these lesions are formed at the proximity of the tooth. So especially some investigators may say these lesions are developed from those periodontal ligament. Those periodontal ligament get mineralized, form a cemental like materials that leads to a cemento osseous dysplasia. In finally, the World Health Organization concluded that it is divided into three classified, like focal cemento osseous dysplasia, periapical cemento osseous dysplasia, and florid cemento osseous dysplasia. The focal cemento osseous dysplasia, it is most commonly in middle-aged females, especially in Africans and Americans. In this area, mandibles are most frequently affected, especially molar. The mandibular molars are most frequently affected. It is characterized by that lesions are particularly one of the area, so it is called as a focal cemento osseous dysplasia. These conditions is the lesions are developed probably average is 1.5 centimeters, and it is asymptomatic. We are misdiagnosed as periapical lesions, so we have to done the pulp vitality test. It is this test is done for the cemento osseous dysplasia or periapical lesions to confirm those discrepancy. So we have the pulp vitality test is done. The pulp is vital, but the lesions are found. It is called as a focal cemento osseous dysplasia. The periapical cemento osseous dysplasia, it is involved in the apical region of the tooth. More than one tooth, the lesion does not expand up, like average the lesion is 1 centimeter, especially in mandibular anterior teeth. So it is a solitary or multiple small lesions, and at the same time it is mostly seen in the black people. It is also asymptomatic and self-limiting. Sometimes the lesions expand. See this expand the bone. See look like this. The lesions will be prominently will see in these areas. Uh, Next, we have to see that florid cemento osseous dysplasia. The florid means multiple cemento osseous dysplasia. It is seen in mostly like the molar regions is will commonly seen. It is who are affected, that is black women. Although Asians may be affected. It is also your asymptomatic, multifocal and multi-involving both maxilla and mandible. It is bilateral lesions look like this. This is a bilateral lesions, and multifocal 1, 2, 3, more than 3 lesions, and both maxilla and mandible of the jaws are affected. These lesions are leads to formation of the osteomyelitis, because these lesions day by day increase in the gum, increase in the soft tissues, or the bone become enlarged. At the same time, the patient wearing a denture, the denture will get irritated and form a ulcerations. The ulceration leads to the affected the bone. This infected bone is already insufficient blood supply. So in this area, insufficient blood supply that leads to a osteomyelitis conditions. So these very complications of tooth extractions. It is in the histologic features, it is highly cellular, like this highly cellular, and island of bony materials we have the seen these areas, and it is a fibroblast and hemorrhagic materials are also seen. In the radiographic features, we have to finally confirm what is that apical radiolucence. Sorry, what is that apical lesions, periapical lesions, and what is cementoblastoma, and what is cemento-osseous dysplasia. In periapical lesions in advance, the lesions look like there is a formation of a radiolucence rim will be seen in the periapical lesions, and cementoblastoma there is no visible of a radiolucence rim, so it is called as so it is not a cemento-osseous dysplasia. And finally, now these lesions tend to expand the sorry, in cemento-osseous dysplasia these lesions not extend beyond the alveolar canal, like this these lesions formed not beyond the alveolar canal, only till the alveolar canal these lesions are formed. So in cemento-osseous dysplasia none of the lesions expanded the cortices, like these lesions not expanded to till the cortices. So this is self-limiting and not expanded to beyond the alveolar canal and not expanded to the cortical plates. In focal cemento-osseous dysplasia, it is very single, well-defined, and it is well single defined, particularly one area like this. This is a focal cemento-osseous dysplasia. Previously, we have to discuss about that. It is a focal cemento-osseous dysplasia. It is single, well defined, and particularly one area. And cemento-osseous dysplasia in periapical area, it is multifocal. Sorry, it is in more than 1 centimeters. It is particularly seen in the periapical regions. So it is called as a periapical cemento-osseous dysplasia. It is especially in the anterior mandibles. In Florid cemento-osseous dysplasia, multiple sclerotic masses are seen like this. These multiple sclerotic masses will be seen in the florid cemento-osseous dysplasia. It is a characteristic features of the radiography. The treatment, it is a self-limiting, so doesn't not need a treatment, but the extraction of biopsy should be contraindicated that leads to a osteomyelitis.